Alright guys, so just walking to my car. It's currently 9:15 p.m. and you can probably tell by my voice just how tired I am. It's been a very long shift and I'll catch you guys up on it as soon as I get home. So I'll see you in a sec. What is going on, guys? My name is Kenji and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully it's not the first time you're watching one of my videos, but just in case it is, I am a first year doctor working in London, and welcome back to another day in my life as a doctor. This is probably actually one of the first ever vlogs I've ever done, finally being a doctor. Today's actually my second last day on the specialty of pediatrics. I'm actually rotating to geriatrics next week, and before I rotate, I really wanted to take you guys through an entire day in my life, showing you my responsibilities as a first year doctor on this specialty, and have a really jam-packed and exciting day for you guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so my drive to work is normally around 20 minutes, but it's super variable. Some days there can be no traffic and it can take 20 minutes. Other days when there's traffic, it can take up to 45 minutes. But right now, Google Maps says I'll be there at 8:50 a.m., which is literally the perfect time for me. I don't like being too early, I don't like being too late, so 8:50 a.m. is actually perfect. What I didn't actually tell you guys before is today I'm actually doing 2 different shifts. The reason being is that from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm actually on my normal working shift, so I'll be on the ward for that 8 hours. At 5 p.m. however, I'm actually locuming from 5 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. So I'll be locuming in the pediatric assessment unit. 20 minutes left in the car, and I'll see you guys when I get there. Alright guys, so Google Maps was pretty accurate and I got here with 10 minutes to spare. And while I sit in the car, what I normally do is finish off my breakfast, which is Huel, and I like to just listen to the music and get ready for the day. So to tell you guys briefly what the next sort of 3 hours is going to be like, because I won't get time to obviously film and I can't film in hospital. Essentially, as soon as I walk in, we start off the handover, so the morning handover. This is essentially when the evening staff hand over to the day team and they tell us about the patients, if there's any new patients overnight, if anyone got worse or got better, and what the rest of the plan is for the day. So that normally takes around 1 hour to talk through all of the patients. We go from literally the top of the list to the bottom of the list, and we go through all 25, 26 patients who are on the ward currently. After the handover, essentially what we do is then go on the ward round. So I normally get paired up with the consultant, and me and the consultant will go through all of the patients on the ward round, seeing how they are, if they need any new treatments, if we need to stop any treatments, and ultimately considering whether or not they can go home or if they need to stay in hospital any longer period of time. What my responsibilities are as an F1 in pediatrics, particularly on the ward round, what I have to do is to go ahead in front of the consultant and prepare all of the notes. So I need to know the entire story of the patient, why they're here, why they came in, what has been done since they came in, what medications they're on, what are their latest blood results, have they had any sort of investigations like chest x-rays. I need to be aware of all of that. I also need to make sure the patient is stable, so looking at all of their observations or vital signs, so when the consultant does come over, I'm able to do a very quick summary of who this patient is and why they're here and exactly what I just told you guys, so we can go straight ahead and see the patient. Then as we see the patient, I'll be writing down what the consultant is saying. As well as that, I'll also be writing a little job list on the side, so if the consultant says this patient's going to need some new medications or is able to go home, then what I am able to do is write that on my little job list, so that after the ward round I can come back to see all these patients myself or the rest of the team and actually do the jobs as the consultant said. So that's going to be the next sort of 4 hours. What I'll probably do is catch up with you guys at lunchtime and let you know how the day is going so far. So I hope you're enjoying the video so far, and I'm going to run and sprint straight to the ward because it's getting quite late. See you guys in the next clip. So after having my lunch at 1:30 p.m, I then returned to the ward, where I spent the next few hours doing all of the jobs the consultant decided on the morning ward round. This included taking blood, putting in any cannulas that were necessary, chasing any investigation results like any blood tests or CT scans, and writing discharge letters for any patients that needed to go home. I did this until around 5 p.m, where my position then changed to being the locum surge doctor, which I'll explain to you on the next clip. Alright guys, so it's currently 11:10 and I finally sat down to actually chill for the first time this entire day basically. I actually came home around 10:30 because there was a road that was closed on my way home. So got home around 10:30 p.m. Immediately sat down and my amazing girlfriend made me an amazing dinner, which I'll show you guys on the screen right now. But yeah, really good dinner. And after having dinner, I'm finally sitting down to have a few minutes to myself to actually sit and kind of reflect on the day. So this is one of my last shifts ever in pediatrics, like I told you guys. And before I go on to that, just to recap you of what happened over the last few hours. So at 5 p.m, I was the surge doctor. Essentially what that means is I was the extra doctor who would have to go wherever they want me to go and wherever they need me across the pediatric wards. So on this particular evening, they actually needed me on the pediatric ward, the kind of general ward that we have in the hospital. So as soon as I walked down there at 5 p.m, they were super busy. They had a bunch of patients that were just waiting to go home, a bunch of patients that just needed to be discharged from the hospital to make space for all of the patients in A&E who would need to be admitted and have a bed in order to be actually admitted on the ward. So I immediately went down and there are about 7 patients waiting to be discharged. So my job as the extra doctor was to try and make sure that all of these patients go home as soon as possible, and also to make beds for the more patients waiting in A&E. So what does that involve to actually get a patient out and to actually discharge a patient? So firstly, what I had to do is to read all of the notes to see what the consultant made in regards to the plan of the patient going home. So the patients may actually go home on medications, or they may have to go home with certain referrals. So once I actually understand what the plan is for the patient, I then have to write a full discharge letter to actually allow the patient to go home. So every single patient who leaves the ward needs a discharge letter in order to tell their GP, in order to tell the patient and any other doctor, who they'll be seeing, what exactly happened to the patient while they were at hospital. So I wrote the discharge letter, and then immediately after that, I had to actually write the discharge medication. So I had to actually prescribe all of the medications that the patient's going home with. And then after that, just basically tying off loose ends, like making sure that the correct referrals are in place. So if a patient needs to be referred, let's say, onto a cardiology clinic to be followed up in the community or in another hospital, then I'd also make that referral as well. So I spent around 4.5 hours from 5 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. doing all of the discharges. And by the time I left, thankfully around 7 patients had actually left the ward, meaning that any patients in A&E that were waiting to be admitted to the ward were all ready to be admitted. So that's pretty much bringing you up until where I am now. And back to what I was saying, this is actually one of my last shifts ever in pediatrics, and actually one of my last shifts ever for a while at least, of being a locum doctor. Now, sorry, my hand's getting really tired from holding this tripod. I probably need to make an entire video on this, guys, but I've gotten to the point where I'm locuming so much and it really is taking a toll on my energy, my mental health, and just my enjoyment of the job as a doctor. And like, don't get me wrong, working as a doctor, as a locum doctor is great. I get paid 40 to 50 pounds an hour, which on a 4.5 hour shift like tonight's from 5 p.m, that is quite a lot of money. That's a significant amount of money, especially in the financial climate that we're living in. However, my last locum shift is not tomorrow. I have a locum shift tomorrow from 5 p.m. again. It's actually on Wednesday, the day after tomorrow. So I have 2 more locum shifts left in pediatrics, and I'm actually going to be done with locuming for a while, at least for the rest of December, maybe the rest of January as well. And it's going to take me a good amount of time to actually come back to locuming. The main reason is that, as I said, I'm just getting really tired. It's taking a toll on my mental health. It's making me really fatigued. I don't actually rest to recover from the last week and moving on to this week because I locum on the weekends and also in the evenings during the week as well. Now that I'm moving on to geriatrics and I'm leaving pediatrics, I think this is a good time to just take a little break from the locums, get back to my normal life, get back to see my friends and family, and just stop doing this for a while. But I will make a full kind of video on why I'm going to stop being a locum doctor, at least for the foreseeable future. But that's pretty much it, guys. It's nearly 11:30. I haven't actually showered. I'm still in my scrubs, as you can see. So I actually need to shower and get ready for tomorrow, make sure I have all of my meals prepped and ready for tomorrow as well. And that's pretty much what my life has been like throughout my 4 months here in pediatrics. I don't locum every day, but I've been locuming a lot of days. And I wanted to make sure that I make a video for you guys to actually see what life has been like as a pediatric doctor, plus being a locum doctor on this side. So any questions at all about locuming, about my days as a pediatric doctor, make sure you leave down in the comments. Make sure you like the video if you gain any sort of benefit from this video. Make sure you're subscribed as well with notifications on. I'm stammering here because I'm so tired. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.